Hello, I'm Jake, aka HamStuff, and No Man's Sky's Origins update might just be its biggest yet. So here's some of the new stuff that you can find. So lightning in planetary storms. Storms have been around since forever, but this is the first time I've ever seen lightning in them. I think it's purely visual. I don't think it actually does anything. I don't think you could be hit by it. So these little trading posts, I guess you could call them, they're nothing new, but what is, Mr. Corvax is outside, pretending to work, not just playing Pokemon. Yeah, I see that. So he's 16. He's not happy with me. So now come night time, he was inside, but he's coming back out again. And he's stuck on some pipes. So annoying the Sentinels. Nothing new there, however. It's easier to trick them into following you into a building. You can laser them. Well, you couldn't use your multi-tool before, because the Sentinel has no clue what's happening. I don't think it would work for anything larger than a drone, however. Are you still out here? But he doesn't want to talk to me. So, everything previous was in my survival save through. I guess that's canon with the series. I've been doing this was in permadeath. Weird, floating, farting blue aliens. Try and get away from the Sentinels. Like, it's definitely an alien, like an animal. But it doesn't seem to take damage from anything. And I've seen groups of these just farting blue out. Another one coming over the hill, I think. I don't think it was a drone for the Sentinels. They're kind of similar sized. A bunch of new and weird aliens. As fast as it is flying saucers. And an alien invasion movie from the old 1950s. Except the saucers are the aliens. So here we have a meteor shower, and there are meteors that fall to the planets. I've also seen them hit the planet, but they don't do any damage, so they don't leave a crater or anything. more fine blue aliens. And some tentacles. Like the ground kraken. There's all these sort of aliens that are under the ground. We only see part of it. Now, while I can confirm that Hello Ghost has added rainbows, I tried to chase after this one and I didn't seem to get any closer. So I can't but assume there's a pot of gold at the end of it. But thus far, I haven't managed to get to it. Well, the planet I was on, most planets, they only appear during storms. So after the storm started clearing up, my rainbow, as you can see, begins to disappear. Quite quickly, I should say. These buried mineral formation things. Expose them with the terrain manipulator and mine them with your mining laser. Worth some money on its own, but if you analyse the contents, you may get a fair bit more. Originally, this clip was to show something else. This guy. And then did pilot. Oh my god. Could he be another player? Have we finally? Multiplayer confirmed? Isn't that a ship? I always have a look at them. Nah, just a Viking dude. So, let's trade. These upgrades might not be particularly legal. But I won't tell the Sentinels if you won't. Wait for the movement one in the end. Oh, they're hot planets, they're fun. Hot planets, they're literally fire. Because they are on fire. Come children, have a seat next to 2020. Now, freighter command is a thing. You manage a fleet. I haven't a clue what you meant to do with any of this. Sort of, you've got your main capital ship. I guess you can hire other ships to go along with it. Quite what they do is beyond me. Let's have a talk with this chap. Our ship Lisa, fleet commander. We cannot possibly dispatch expeditions in this state. expeditions. Doesn't really clear stuff up. So now, you join me, hurtling toward the surface of the planet. Surely my certain demise. There's no jetpack slowing me down. I'm at terminal velocity. And it's flat. I'm completely fine. Apart from the fact I don't have a head. Because this is creative mode. It was introduced at the same time as the Battle Permadeath game modes. I never really did much with it. But after I died in permadeath and I lost all my progress because, well, that's what makes it permadeath, it's kind of permanent. So I had to switch over to creative. I built my lovely cloud base. And this was so high it was out of range of my base computer. But it let me put another one down, so we're all gravy. I don't like those corners. There's just not a... You see these corner walls? They won't fit in that space, and there was nothing that will. It's always finished when I left it, but then some parts disappeared, so guess I'll fill that in. I need walls that go the other way, if you know what I mean. I'm not sure I know what I mean. Switched my other starship, one of them anyway. I found a weird thing in permadeath. I put a marker down, but unfortunately I died before I could get to it. There's one of these arid planets with the cacti and the cactus flesh. So I found another planet like that. That weird thing wasn't a crash freighter. That's my starting point. I want to show off the various exocraft. But for that, I need an exocraft terminal. I could build one here, but it's ever so far away. Easy to go by spaceship. Yeah, part of this video is just an excuse to show off that I have various spaceships. Yeah, the second one, the plural. I would love to show off the full journey, but the video would have been far too long. Just that red is where the weird thing is. Green is our starting point. Now the exocraft are nothing new, they've been in the game since my first video on it. Way back in 2018. That wasn't a cut in the video, by the way, that bit just didn't record in the middle. But what is new, you can change the appearance of them. And the Minotaur was actually added quite recently. I don't think it was the last update, maybe the one before that. So basically, from Avatar. The other Avatar. The film. No, not that. The other film. I forget his name. The bad guy in that. Same thing he had. So you can install technology in them, such as a mining laser for your Minotaur, and a precision laser does more stuff, and a cannon which goes pew pew pew. Minotaur bore. Wonder what that one does. Onto my next exocraft, the Colossus. They had decals or stickers to them. That's the guy I look like. So the straight racing isn't particularly fast either. The Colossus has always had a reputation for being a bit slow. In the old days it used to be almost slower than walking. Now, I think it genuinely might be. But if you're on a planet with extreme weather or angry sentinels or animals that want to eat your face, it's a good way of getting around, I suppose. A bit decals on it. It'll take a second to load in, but you can kind of see what they are. You have Pikachu on meth, the Atlas. I go for that. The Blob. Famous Fleck Blob. I believe one of the first trailers. And here it's covered up by my laser thingy. Notice a little spoiler in the back now for added downforce. I'm sure that'll come in handy. This was my longest journey in Socrat by far. Partly because I expected this to be much faster. I swear it used to be. I was told they'd been nerfed. And yeah, I really think that's true. Which is a shame. You can still get some pretty decent air off things. So here I kind of crashed into one of those knowledge stones. One thing I really should have done at some point is try and use the terrain manipulator around a knowledge stone. You wouldn't mind away the stone itself, but the ground beneath it. I want to see how far down it goes. And this thing's slow when not boosting. But it recharges quickly enough. Quite reminiscent with my first video. I tried with the Roma in that one too. They definitely improved the lighting in the game. Because my god, everything just looks so red in that old video. You know, HamStuff tests No Man's Sky. We always seem to find massive amounts of oxygen when they don't need it. Like when I've either got loads or when I'm in creative mode. That little lightning bolt symbol I assume is the fuel. I don't know how quickly that depletes if I only do them in creative mode. And now you see the place it wants to go. The red marker has a definitive location at whatever the heck this thing is. When I first saw it I thought this looks evil. But I'm not so sure it is. You wouldn't have found one without looking. In permadeath, and I found one by looking in creative, both on the same planet type. I assume they're quite common. Well, whatever it is, we're here now. Just says goose your point. That's a nice spaceship. Or starship as they're called. So in creative mode, everything is free. And the form pilot just disappears when you buy something. I didn't know that. So let's have a gander in photo mode at just what this is. So it looks like there's a back entrance. Some sort of force field. Yeah, photo mode is a pretty limited range. There's no trade terminal, I could say. And you still have normal trading posts. So I don't think it's one of those. Well, in any case, there's a little bit more I have to show you. So ring planets are nothing new, moons are nothing new. But this is the first time I've seen the rings go through one of the moons. Another crushed freighter. I think they might have promised these. There certainly weren't in the game when it released. But they've been in here for a good few updates now. And with this, the Nomad used to be the fastest exocraft. I think it might have been nerfed most of all. And I'm stuck in this down. Okay, I'll reverse. So that didn't work. Right, let's go. And hopefully not get stuck in anything. So the boost doesn't last very long this one, it recharges quickly. It's enough to get me out over that cave entrance. I think my favourite is still the Roma. I think that's the first one you get. But in creative, I've got access to all of them. Those weird looking tree things, they are new. They didn't really exist. They were just like either solid or you just walk straight through them. Check out my bonus base building in No Man's Sky video to see what they were like just a couple of updates ago. Well, I say updates, patches I suppose. So the main update were in 3.15 I believe. I'm surprised, I thought we'd had more updates than that, than just the main 3. We had Foundations, then Atlas Rises, then No Man's Sky next, then Origins, which this one is. So it's 4 point something or other, unless you count the initial game as 1 by my reckoning, but the update was just called 3.15. I don't know why. But these are the rings of the planet that we are going through. It's just completely whited out everything, or less white, so gently fade to black. No Man's Sky it's excellent. I genuinely love it. But it has not convinced me entirely that it is what we were promised back in 2016. It's closer, and in some ways more than the game we were sold. The planets used to be so empty. They've eventually admitted that the planet they used in the trailers with the big dinosaur thing was fake. It was just they built it. It's not actually in the game. And of course there's the matter of multiplayer, which there is a multiplayer mode, but I don't want to join a lobby with someone. I want to see people in the universe. It's a large universe, so the chances are unlikely, but if you wanted to work toward finding somebody, you could. That's what we were told. And those little symbols on the lower part of the screen, in photo mode sometimes, I think are portal glyphs. That's, I believe they're called. Of course, the portals do work these days. Didn't originally. One thing, it's such a goddamn rigmarole to do anything in this game. It took me weeks trying to get an exocraft in permadeath. I still never managed it because I died. I mean, landed pilots to trade you upgrades. They make the universe seem more alive. But speaking of upgrades, you can upgrade your jetpack and your movement. But even in creative, it's not as good as I remember. So I think they've nerfed it. I'm certain they've nerfed Exocraft. I seem a lot slower. I think they've nerfed... This might be a better thing. Space Pirates. Originally, I had a lot of trouble with Space Pirates. They would kill you dead. The Sentinel ships, them, I think they're less powerful. Which is good, I guess. What's my train of thought? Spaceship handling is definitely better than it was in the beginning. that they used to handle awfully. I mean, some of them still do. I can't remember what they're called. They're not freighters, like high capacity storage ships. The very square ones you get. They're awful. You turn, and then the ship turns, but it keeps on going. It's too much angular momentum. So fighters handle normally. They're not sharp, nimble, agile, go wherever you want in an instant. They're just sort of, you turn that way, yeah, I'll go that way. Whatever, man, no problem. Aliens. There's a lot more variety in the aliens. For the planets played, they still look mostly the same. I mean, there's some new ones and new plants, and the planets themselves are slightly different, and sometimes in a couple of planets in my original solar system have gone. They're vanished. In my survival playthrough. There's a couple of new ones. That's always a risk with a big update. Over $24.99, the game's never been more worth your time, your money, and your effort, especially with all that they've added. So, given all I've learned in my survival playthrough, I'd say 8 out of 10. And for these test videos, I do it in number of stars, so I guess 4 out of 5. If it proved multiplayer, I'll get 5. But until then, goodbye.